The final week of the season comes down to this. The 6th-ranked Stanford Cardinal, looking for their 22nd win of the season, takes on their longtime rival, 13th-ranked UCLA. It's a top 15 matchup on Pac-12 Network. Coming up next. Live from Los Angeles, California, it's Pac-12 Women's Volleyball presented by Tashikara. Inside Pauley Pavilion, a top 15 matchup. The 13th-ranked UCLA Bruins hosting the 6th-ranked Stanford Cardinal in their final conference match of the season. Taking a look at the updated conference standings, USC has clinched a share of the title with a win over Cal earlier today. Washington will have an opportunity to clinch a share of the title if they can beat Washington State on Saturday. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anne-Marie Anderson alongside Olympic gold medalist and NCAA champion Dane Blanton. Dane, no surprise, it comes down to the wire in this conference.
Yeah, the Pac-12 always strong. Remember, last year, 10 of the 12 teams made it to the conference, and every one of those teams won their first round. So this year, no different. A lot of parity in the Pac-12. We're going to see the number 3 and number 4 team battle it out tonight.
What an exciting week it has been. UCLA upset top-ranked USC. What did the Bruins learn about themselves with that win on Wednesday?
Well, they learned to scrap, I'll tell you what, and Riley Bushler and Jordan Anderson, the cornerstones, really stepped up their game. Winning against the number 1 seed in the nation is something special. But on the other side of the net, the Stanford Cardinal, they have a great core senior group, and now they have the addition of Haley Hodson, who is the front runner for Freshman of the Year on the national scene. So it's a pretty incredible matchup.
Should be a good one. 2 of the top teams in the nation. Look for lots of offense. Of course, look for the littles, the smalls, and the defense of UCLA against the strong middles of Stanford. We'll take you through lineups and first serve right after the break. Pac-12 Women's Volleyball is presented by Tashikara. We've got the ball, you bring the game. Welcome back, a post-Thanksgiving feast here for volleyball fans. Top 15 matchup, UCLA and Stanford about to get underway. Stanford's had such a talented run with their seniors. A couple of seniors really leading the way all season long for this Stanford team. Burgess and Howard and Bug forming the nucleus of Stanford's lineup.
Yeah, no question about it. And with the addition of Haley Hodson, they've gone through some adversity, but when you have a freshman come in who is so strong and so confident and has learned so quickly to play at this level, you're in good shape.
Meanwhile, for UCLA, they've had a lot of changes this year. We've seen different setters for them, different opposite hitters for them. Jessica Namo is starting at opposite again. She had 13 critical kills in the win over USC.
Yeah, people are starting to pick up their role is what's happening. And remember, this UCLA squad is coming out their biggest victory in the last few years, taking down that number 1.
Series history between these two teams. John Dunning telling us beforehand, you have to remember it was in the 80s and 90s that it was always either Stanford or UCLA. This is he considers one of the Cardinals' biggest rivals. Cardinal lead the series history, and they've won the last 6 meetings. Kelsey Humphrey is a junior for this team. Going to start off serving. She's a defensive specialist. Zana Muno got the start at setter, and Claire Felix tips early.
Well, UCLA starting where they left off. Remember, it was Felix who got that final point against USC. She was absolutely on fire, and they are going to establish her early tonight.
That was one of the great successes for UCLA the other day, was that Muno-Felix connection. Because when Felix is comfortable back there on the slide, she has a wide range. Middle, Lutz strikes first.
All great setters try to establish that middle early. That opens up those pin hitters. And so you see Bug going to Lutz really quick.
Haley Hodson, strong candidate for Pac-12 Freshman of the Year. And an ace serve from Hodson.
Yeah, well, that's why right there. She's so aggressive, she's so confident, and she's really learned to play at a high level so quickly. Remember, I mean, she had national team experience even before she finished up high school.
Burgess blocked by Muno. It's up and good. Felix waiting for it, says yes, ma'am.
I don't know how you stop that backslide with Felix because she is such a tall player. She jumps well. At 6'6", she's going to the outside, and she loves to cut it back across the grain, but she can go line as well.
Stanford on the run. Free ball to the Bruins. Muno goes out to Anderson. First crush of the day for Anderson off high hands.
I was so impressed with Anderson against USC, really manufacturing a lot of kills, going off the top of the block, doing whatever it took to get that ball to the floor.
She's been such an important addition to the Bruins. The transfer from West Virginia. Right there, Prager slows down Lutz. Maddie Bug, very offensive setter.
Just beautiful transition right there. You see Haley Hodson lay it out, put the ball up in a settable position, and then Bug, with such a high volleyball IQ, goes over.
Yeah, John Dunning told us at the beginning of the year that he was trying to get Bug to learn to include herself in the offense, and right there, a perfect example of it. Burgess' serve goes into the net. Burgess has been playing injured since last November, one of the most fit players on the Stanford team. It's been a difficult year for her physically, but made contributions. Hodson from the backcourt unloads, and Lutz closes the door.
There's not a lot that you can do right there. An overpass with a 6'8" Lutz waiting. She gets up, over, taps it down to the open spot, and makes it look easy.
As Lutz rotates out, Ivana Banyak comes in the middle. Howard on one side, Bug on the other for the Cardinal. Muno to Anderson. Banyak is dug, and it's chased down. Muno goes cross country to get it. Muno laying out twice. She's got Namo outside. She goes to Frager in the middle and then digs it. Taylor Formico back. Namo unloads.
What a great rally right there. The best rally so far in this match. What I like so much about the end of that is Formico just nonchalant, walking in, putting up a beautiful set to be put down. And that's what you need. You have to have players like that, your libero, ready to set and step in at any moment.
She's fun to watch because, as you say, nonchalant. We've seen her kick balls for kills. We've seen her just do about everything. She is taking over. Banyak and Bug close the door.
Big block right there, but talking about Formico, I really like her style as well. She's so scrappy. She never gives up on a play, and that's contagious. You know, all the other players see that and work even harder.
Namo from the right. A deep court kill.
I always like when I see that deep court kill rather than trying to hit it straight down. Namo is really finding her range lately, and to be able to hit that back 2-3 feet within the court is something special.
Howard passes. Hodson.
Jeez.
That's right.
So she loves to break out the heat early, and what was most impressive is she turned this one right down the line. The block was taking her angle. She turned her shoulders, went straight down the line, very accurate.
Riley Bushler looks for hands, doesn't get it.
She was having a field day on Wednesday versus USC, especially in that first set. So important, I think, for UCLA to get off on the right foot in the first set.
Now Bushler passes this one, goes back to Felix. Burgess knows she's got that block in front, didn't quite see Namo.
Namo timed that perfectly. It's so difficult to block the ball when it's set 6 feet off the net, but the timing is there, the press is there, and the ball's unable to be covered by the Cardinal.
Namo out of Australia, redshirted last year with a back injury. Hodson's ball goes untouched, and it's a Bruin point.
Yeah, you don't see that. That's very uncharacteristic of Hodson. She doesn't make a lot of unforced errors. She's going to challenge you every time.
Burgess. It hits the antenna on the attack, and it's another Bruin point.
A couple of unforced errors right there, and that's been an issue all year long. A little inconsistent at times, Stanford is. If they can iron that out with the senior core they have and Haley Hodson, they would have as good a chance as any at going after that national championship.
That one, a net violation of the Bruins. Discounts it, and they've gone once all the way around the dial as Kelsey Humphreys comes back in to serve. John Dunning coached her mom, Wendy Rush, four-time All-American setter at Stanford. Felix, again, unstoppable.
It's so difficult because she's going one way, she hits the ball back the other way, and she's got range on that backslide. See that? Going right down the line that time. She started off hitting at angle, but she has the ability to pinpoint down the line. That makes it very difficult for the blocker to track.
Short serve from Enoy. Howard handles it perfectly.
Wow.
Karate chop.
I mean, to think that she is just a freshman. How good can Haley Hodson get?
Well, John Dunning has talked about her maturity and said if you met her brother, if you met her parents, you see that it just runs in the family, an incredibly mature player and person. No touch, Stanford point.
A lot of hitting errors on both sides of the net right now. If you don't have that kill, you got to keep that ball in. Give your front line that second opportunity to block the ball.
Anderson, one blocker. Uses hands.
Jordan Anderson, 4.64 kills a set. Second in the Pac-12, only to Samantha Bricio.
Burgess goes down low and then comes up, keeps it in play. To Frager, kind of a 1.5, and it works.
Yeah, I like how Burgess kept that ball in play. She didn't see that she had that kill opportunity. Give that block a second opportunity. Unfortunately for the Cardinal, they could not get the point.
Michael Seeley telling you and I before the game that Zana Munoz had the best game of her young career on Wednesday against top-ranked USC. What does that mean for this Bruin team as they head towards postseason and have her reaching her peak?
Well, it's huge. That's what you want. You want your team playing the best. Beautiful rally right now going on. So many great defensive plays. And Lutz puts it in the deep corner. But to have your setter, Munoz, starting to really come together, starting to gel with some of her hitters, especially the middles and Felix, it's something special. And it was interesting. He started Michaela Leonard in that match, and I think that kind of fired up Munoz to get out there to say, hey, I should be starting here. Let me have my job back. And that's what a great coach does. They allow situations where they're competitive within the team, and it only makes the team better.
Howard gets her first kill of the day.
Nice hit by Howard, really going right at the blockers. I think that might have just split the defense. Frager at the block.
Sarah Benjamin serving. Fans will notice. Deep Stanford fans will notice she's wearing number 5 today instead of number 2. Sarah Benjamin, the sophomore from San Diego. As she comes out, Jordan Burgess comes back in for the Cardinal. Meanwhile, Zana Munoz back to serve. Lots. Some have called that the most unstoppable hitter in women's volleyball, they've said.
Well, it's so quick, and she's got a really nice connection with Maddie Bug, and that's why it's so difficult to stop. At 6'8", she's hitting the ball from such a high point. Even if you're lined up, it's difficult to stop.
Howard, off hands, perfectly executed.
Yeah, I love that shot. Instead of challenging the block low and trying to power it, she puts a nice little snap high off the hands, uses the block. That's a smart play.
Hala McKenna, another talented freshman for the Cardinals, serving the libero. Namo goes wide, and McKenna will serve again. As we reach the midpoint of set number 1, Stanford with a 2-point lead.
Goal, knocked up here. High school. I would decide my position. Miss.
You're watching Pac-12 Los Angeles.
Welcome back to Pauley Pavilion, Pac-12 Women's Volleyball, presented by Tashi Kara. Michael Seeley in his 6th year as head coach of this program. Looking at a team, and he knows that you just need to make a late season run. Certainly in 2011, they didn't win the conference. They won the national title. Late season run.
You're absolutely right. You don't have to win the conference to win it all. But RPI is huge when the selection show happens at 6 o'clock this Sunday. There you see USC number 2, Washington 6, and then these two teams very even. Stanford at 12, UCLA at 13. If UCLA can get a win tonight, they would tie Stanford for 3rd in the Pac-12.
Namo goes right back to the last play before the timeout.
Well, what's so important about that RPI is, both these teams are going to be in the top 16. They are going to host, for sure, the first round. And that's what's most important. You just don't know which region they're going to be. We'll find that out on Sunday night. But right now, you're playing to sharpen everything you've worked on all year. And, of course, go into the postseason with some confidence.
Beautifully done, and a hole in the block as Vanyat hits that with some confidence.
Yeah, I like how both teams are playing. They're both serving tough. A lot of nice, solid jump floaters. Very difficult to pass. Bushler seeing a lot of unforced errors out of her. Trying to go high off the hands. That one goes a little bit wide and just out of bounds. And Mike Seeley, he's going to want to think this one over.
The break worked from the other day after Wednesday. They came out on fire where Stanford regrouped during this timeout.
To care for athletes and get them back in the game.
Set 1, a 3-point lead for Stanford, and John Dunning, the head coach, his 15th season with the Stanford Cardinal, 4-time national champion. And he really is a former high school math teacher who has turned those stats into great success at the head of one of the premier programs in women's volleyball.
Well, yeah, I saw a stat today, and I had to check the stat because I was so astonished by it. Stanford, since 1986, 27 of 29 times they finished either first or second in the Pac-12. I mean, that's incredible.
That's amazing.
Unfortunately,
that's consistency.
This year they won't be in the top 2, though. But what a program.
Yeah, it's been incredible. They suffered an injury to Inki Ajanaku at the beginning of the season, before the season, during the summer, and it shows the resiliency of the Stanford program. Ivana Banyak, for example, moved to middle with Inki out. She was not a middle player before this season at all. Made a great sacrifice, and you see her up there with her hand bundled as well. Muno to Frager. Formico digs, and then back to Namo. Is there enough of a hole in the block? But Burgess is planted. So smart. It's wide.
Just out of bounds. Namo tried to go right over the block. And there's Inky. And we were talking about it earlier. If Inky was on the court, would Stanford just walk away with it this year?
Well, they certainly still have USC to contend with their incredible offense. But the combination of Ajanaku, Burgess, Howard, and Bug from their freshman year have had so much success together that it's hard to imagine anybody having, any kind of consistent success against them. I mean, she was incredible.
Yeah, and with the addition of Haley Hodson. But speaking of those seniors, entering this week, they were 110 and 18 overall. So now they're 111 and 18, and at home they're 60 and 2.
Yeah, forget about it.
The seniors.
Yeah, it's really been incredible. Those two were this year.
Yeah, and those two were both to USC, and they were both in 5 sets. Talk about protecting your home court.
Yeah, exactly. Naples Pavilion is tough where they play. It's tough for basketball as well. The women's basketball team has the same kind of success.
Namo tries to go over the net. The ball never clears, ends up on the UCLA side. Point for Stanford.
Bushler passes, athletic set, but Monyak and Hodson waiting for it.
Yeah, it's been a big difference tonight for Bushler on the outside. She hasn't been able to slice and dice as she did on Wednesday. Right now they have her number. She's had a few unforced errors. That one gets blocked right back at her, and we'll have another timeout.
It's been an exciting weekend of Pac-12 women's volleyball. Earlier today, Colorado beat Utah in that rivalry matchup. 23rd ranked Arizona got one over their rival Arizona State. And of course, we mentioned that USC clinched at least a share of the Pac-12 title with their win over Cal. Tomorrow, Washington State goes to second-ranked Washington at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and then we will find out whether they will share the title or not. Taking a look at the NCAA championship schedule, it's right back to business. It was Friday's first game.
Yeah, not a lot of time off, and everyone will be watching 6 o'clock on Sunday night, where they have the tournament selection show. And if you're one of those top 16 teams, for sure, you're going to be hosting. And it's going to be interesting. I think there's just so much parity this year between the teams. There's no one definitive kind of world beater team that no one can contend with. I mean, anything can happen, and we saw that the other night with the #1 ranked USC Trojans going down to these UCLA Bruins.
Yeah, and you got to remember, Penn State's ranked 7th, I think, right now, and they give you the yips. It's like an assassin coming up on you, but you never turn your back on Russ Rose, and so you wonder if he's going to come out and take care of business, if his team, if Texas is going to. Minnesota wasn't even ranked at the beginning of the season. What a set. Felix uses Burgess.
Yeah, it's been a real crazy year. I mean, for USC to be ranked 22nd in the preseason and then jump to #1 so quickly, that's never really happened. But you're absolutely right. Penn State always kind of waits in the wings, and they peak at the right time. That's a sign of the excellent coaching of Rose.
Formico, beautiful set to Bushler. Burgess over hands. McKenna, nice dig, and then Hodson tries to put it away. The Littles grab it. Oh, but the connection there as Drolson and Namo run into each other.
And every time the rally goes longer than expected, it seems like Stanford is winning the long ones. And that can really take a lot out of you if you're UCLA. Right now, head coach Mike Seeley trying to figure out the answers. And hitting percentage, always an indicator. Right now, UCLA hitting .081 as opposed to Stanford hitting .312.
Well, it's interesting. You talk about the long rallies, and you have to remember, too, the long matches. UCLA's 5-setter against USC the other day, they're 4th in the last 5 matches. They win 5 sets.
And it's a tough day because it's the day after Thanksgiving. And even though you are a cohesive team unit, sometimes having that whole day, a little different process to going into a match. Wow. How much heat from Hodson on the right side. Stanford's dangerous. I'm telling you, they have some athletes with such strong middles. When they establish that middle, having such a dynamic Haley Hodson on the right, it's really a lethal weapon.
It really is, and maybe Maddie Bug is their best weapon of all. She's certainly a leader for Pac-12 setter of the year, and to have a senior with that kind of confidence and consistency.
Yeah, she probably walks away with it. I mean, she's already a 2-time Pac-12 setter of the year. What an amazing career, winning that 3 times in a row. That's something special.
Well, her delivery right there was just perfect. She's up front now. Bug is with Howard and Lutz. And it is set point for the Cardinal. Howard looks for the corner.
Just too much right there. The Cardinal, they dug too many balls and they converted in transition to put it away.
Brittany Howard just keeps it smart, finds her spot, and Stanford takes set number 1 over the Bruins.
You're watching Pac-12.
Raised chicken with no antibiotics from Foster Farms. Simply better.
Welcome back to the campus of UCLA. The Stanford Cardinal took set number 1 over the Bruins. Anne-Marie Anderson alongside Olympic gold medalist and NCAA champion Dane Blanton. Dane, your impressions of the first set?
Well, my impressions for sure were that Stanford really came to play. Haley Hodson has 6 kills. What Stanford's doing, they established their middle very early. That's opening up the hitters on the pins, but what they're even doing better is transitioning. They're digging a lot of UCLA's hits, and they're transitioning those into points, and all the long rallies are going Stanford's way. And that's why they won in decisive fashion there, 25-18.
Well, and to your point, the Bruins hitting under 100, what do they need to do to put the ball away?
Well, they need to eliminate some of the unforced errors, but Stanford's block is something special right now. They're putting up a solid block, very disciplined, but UCLA is hitting too many balls out of bounds and too many balls into the net. Make Stanford earn every single point. You have to hit either at the block or at the defender, but for sure the ball has to end up in the court.
Taking a look at the lineups on the floor, no obvious changes for either team other than a spin of the dial for UCLA as Enoy starts off serving, and it's well-deserved. She gets an ace.
That's what they need to turn it around, get a little confidence. As you said, a long 5-setter on Wednesday might have took a little out of them, emotionally especially, the Bruins taking down the Trojans.
My goodness, Bug to Lutz.
You see how Bug does it. She establishes that middle right away. And why wouldn't you when you have the 6'8" Lutz coming in for that quick?
John Dunning says that Lutz is so much more than tall. He says, take a look at her wrist. She snaps so well, has great wrist work, and is just adding all this to her memory bank in terms of her learning curve.
Munoz going right back to Felix, establishing her middle hitter early. Felix really loves that backslide.
Burgess takes the biggest swing she can, but Frager and Munoz shut it down.
Great sync, great timing by Frager and Munoz on the block on the outside. A little gap in that block, but it didn't matter that time.
Lutz calling for it. Tries a little tenderness with the tip. Anderson follows it up.
What a beautiful angle right there for Anderson. She's such a smart player. 6 foot, jumps really well, just a junior. Mike Sealy very focused on what's going on out there. He knows he needs to turn things around here in this second set.
Hodson just unloads. She's brought so much heat today. Frager gets a piece of it, but it's used.
And there you see the transition of the Stanford Cardinal, making a great defensive play, keeping it in, and then scoring the point. Outside to Anderson.
Anderson has had over 1,000 swings on the ball 3 years in a row. That's a lot of work on your shoulder. 2 years at West Virginia of that, and this year more than 1,000.
And that really is. That's taken a lot of cuts at the ball, but she has been strong throughout.
Yeah, when she was at West Virginia, she led the Big 12 in sets, kills, sets per and kills per set.
Well, UCLA right now has to figure out some way to get that ball to the floor, because these rallies, anytime Stanford gets an opportunity, they are really looking smooth in their transition.
The Bruins get a break with a service error. And so Muno is back to serve and set. Anderson, Frager, and Namo up front. UCLA has prided themselves all season long on their defense. Their smalls, as Michael Seeley refers to his defensive specialist. He's got great back line now. Formico pulls out the paws and sets Namo. Big dig. Can you use it? Set is off the net. And then Howard puts it away.
Great offense, great transition right there. So many weapons coming in. We saw Hodson out of the back row. And then right there, Howard putting it away.
Enoy on the money. That's what makes Formico so good. Cuts it off. And there was some hesitation on the part of the line judge, and Michael Seeley is saying to the top up official, you saw it. Make the call yourself, but he's saying it's out.
Yeah, a lot of hesitation there on that call from the line judge, but head referee decided to stick with it.
UCLA comes back, grabs the point. Bushler comes back in up front looking for her first kill of the day as Anderson goes out. She's already picked up 4 kills. Felix, Namo, and Anderson all in that range.
Yeah, UCLA really has to get Bushler going right now. No kills so far for the sophomore.
Bushler's out and ready for it. 2 up, and she gets that first kill.
Yeah, you know it's only a matter of time. She's such a great athlete and plays at such a high level. To start off that entire first set without a kill, that's a big surprise, but now she's got her first kill. Maybe she can roll from here.
Holland McKenna. And then it goes to Hodson. It's out. Micro out, but out nonetheless.
Yeah, it looked really close. Almost looked in from here. So ball's ruled out. UCLA point.
Back to Howard.
Smart play by Howard right there. Couldn't get a swing on it. The ball was set way too close. 2 blockers right in her face. So she keeps her balance, stays out of the net. Look how smart this is. She's got nothing she can do, so she tips it right over. Great court vision by Howard.
Brittany Howard started going to John Dunning's camps as a 7-year-old. Long relationship between she and Dunning, and he says this year she's not afraid to make mistakes. Vonyak out of the middle.
There's that middle attack. We've seen Lutz so many times. That time, Vonyak.
Drolson pass. Namo one-on-one.
I like how aggressive Namo is on that play right there. Not just hitting that ball in the court, but with intent to get it to the floor quickly. She's aware that you cannot allow rallies to go for an extended time versus Stanford.
Howard this time off the block. Claire Felix is back in for UCLA up front. Namo on the other side, and they've got Another rotation or two before Beretta Lutz comes back in. One hand back set wasn't working.
That all starts with the pass right there. UCLA really needs to stay in system. I don't think Munoz could set that ball with two hands. He was kind of in an emergency situation, and that took away that very powerful backslide play that they'd like to go to Felix.
Perfect pass by Formico this time.
And the set a little too tight. Bushler didn't have many choices right there. Tried to push it in the block. It goes off her head and out of bounds.
Michael Seeley going to take a timeout, talk with his Bruins, maybe talk with his setter a little bit. See how it's all going to look after the break.
My name is Corey Close.
Pac-12 Los Angeles.
Welcome back. Set 2, Stanford with a 2-point lead over UCLA. And set number 2, the Cardinal took set number 1. In our intermission, we're going to send you back to our Pac-12 Network studios to Katie Boggs. She's going to take you through that highlights of that match where USC clinched a share of the conference title. Also going to take a look at the Wildcats Sun Devils matchup and a sports report update. Back on the court here at Pauley Pavilion. Brittany Howard serving. A good look at Bushler, Drolson, and Formico receiving for the Bruins. Namo passes the ball through the hole in the block.
And that'll count as kill number 2 for Riley Bushler. That time she just powered it. You know, the defense is there, and that's the scary thing. Every time UCLA hits the ball, the defense is in the right position. That ball just had a little bit too much power on it.
Trouble pass. Back. Namo from the back court. It's kept alive by the Cardinal. Felix begging for it. And Bushler, 3 kills in this rotation.
Yeah, she's strong, and it was only a matter of time before she started racking up those kills. Beautiful defense by Stanford, keeping it in play and making UCLA work a little harder. That ball just tooled out of bounds by Bushler.
Mognac, it goes wide, and I should say Bushler, 3 kills in this trip around the front. She's been different rotations, but she has been electric in the second set. Tied up or with a 1-point lead now for UCLA. Hodson, big swing, no touch, it's long.
So maybe a little switch here. Remember in the first set, it was Stanford that started to expand the lead right around the midway point. Dunning's going to call a timeout here. He has seen enough as UCLA now up 13-11 over the Stanford Cardinal here at Pauley Pavilion.
Ways to care for athletes and get them back in the game.
Senior day here at UCLA, and Michaela Leonard, Carly Drolson, and Rachel Enoy among those, and Maddie Kleiman receiving flowers and recognition from their team. These guys have had quite a run. They joined this program the year after the national championship, and Mike Seeley said they were with this team during that down year in 2013 and have seen the rise of the program again in large part to these athletes.
Yeah, it's always nice to recognize the seniors, and when you get to that point, it comes up, it creeps up on you quickly, and you realize that your career is coming to an end.
Or at least that portion of your career. You went on to win a gold medal at the Olympics in the other half of this sport, beach volleyball. You won it in both. Burgess. What a dig from Drolson. Bushler has 2 blockers in front. Did she get a touch? She did.
She sold that one for sure. Got the touch, and UCLA continues on a run, up 14-11 now. Bushler so good at creating those kills high off the block. Outside, but it's a double contact called on Munoz. That's a difficult error to swallow if you're UCLA. Great touch at the net for the block to slow it down. Nice pass, and then you're ready to set things up. That doesn't happen very often.
Felix on the slide. Burgess looks for it, and it's wide.
Oh, we get a touch.
But she gets a touch.
Wow. So a touch there, and UCLA went to Felix, but with Lutz in the front court, she was able to slow down that slide, and Stanford transitioned smoothly.
Perfect pass. Felix ends the conversation.
Not that time. Lutz didn't have time to get outside. Hodson found herself one-on-one, and that's the situation you do not want to be in with Claire Felix coming around the back.
Anderson wobbles on her way down off of that Hodson block.
Yeah, it looked like she landed a little awkward, but she might have tweaked that ankle, that left ankle she's playing with a little bit. Yeah, she's working it out.
Wiggling it around. She's dealt with an ab injury all season long. Oh my. Inoue got tagged.
Inoue took it up high right there. And that's what, if you're a great defender, as Inoue is, you're going to hang in there, and sometimes you're going to take it high off the shoulder, high off the face, and the longer you play this game, you take those, and sometimes you give them.
Dig by McKenna. For anybody else, that would have been a put-away ball, but there it is, Felix behind. She is playing out of her head, yet to make an error is Claire Felix. 7 kills on 11 swings.
So impressive, and that hit of choice is that backslide.
That one wide. And for Felix, you know that the backslide is coming.
Yeah, you can see it coming, but there's really not a lot you can do. You want to have Lutz in her face, maybe to slow that down.
So much talent on the court in this conference. You think about the of the year candidates, right? Player of the year, freshman, setters. Who do you like?
Well, all the ones they're showing are definitely those front runners. I love Haley Hodson. She is aggressive. I think she's in a class of her own as a freshman. Taylor Whittingham leading the Pac-12 in digs per set. Got to see her on Wednesday, and she's impressive. And we're getting to see Maddie Bug tonight. Such a great volleyball IQ, such a great year. She's already won the award twice in the Pac-12 as setter of the year. And then, of course, Samantha Bricio. She knows how to turn it up. She's such a physical player and so talented. I think she's definitely the front runner for National Player of the Year. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. I mean, for Bricio, the thing about Bricio is that she has been consistent. Even the other night when some of the other players for USC didn't get the numbers that we're used to them seeing, Bricio, again, is so consistent. And to be watching Maddie Bug, you've talked about her. Talk about consistency. She's just been rock solid. I like to watch her emotionally because she seems fairly steady. And how important is that in the setter?
Well, it's everything. You have to keep your composure. You have to be the leader out there. You're the quarterback of the team, and your demeanor is really everything. I think the way you handle yourself kind of sets the tone and the culture for what that cohesive unit is going to act like and look like.
And the future is bright for the Cardinal. 4-time Pac-12 Freshman of the Week for Hodson. There's Bug calling her own number.
Yeah, I think that dump happens. Setters get away with it a little too often, catching the defense completely off guard.
If you're going to give it, we're going to take it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I just am surprised at how often that the defense isn't ready.
Right.
To defend.
You know she's up front. Yeah.
And you know she's good at it.
Right.
You know that's one of the weapons, and to have that much area in the middle of the court. is tough. Right here, a big hit by Anderson. It comes right back.
Benjamin's serve hits the tape, and it's an opportunity for the Bruins as Jordan Burgess comes back in.
Yeah, this is a battle. I mean, we knew that this would go back and forth. The Cardinal 15-4, Bruins 14-5 in Pac-12 play. How sharp was that? Howard, wow.
Howard also error-free today, and she unloads on this one.
I mean, look at the angle right here. That's difficult to stop. It lands right on that 3-meter or 10-foot line, and that is sharp.
Yeah, for Howard, 7 kills on 12 swings. And all of a sudden, it's become a shootout.
Colin McKenna really low, tried to get that up in the air. But UCLA, they're in the driver's seat right now. This is their set to give away. You know, they need to close the door. They need to win this one.
Bushler just rotated back in as Drolson's back to serve. Bushler got 4 kills in her go around the front last time. Formica sets Namo.
Wow.
And Brittany Howard is Midas today.
And that was a beautiful set. It was a bump set, spinning backwards, and it ended up right in the perfect location for Howard to get the kill.
John Dunning says Howard is the most improved player on his team this year and a service ace for the Cardinal and Maddie Bug.
Maddie Bug, number 22, went for the jump float serve. The bottom completely drops out of it, and it falls for an ace.
Wow, Formico lays that perfectly. Snap, another touch for Brittany Howard.
Yeah, that ball was just out of bounds, but the touch was called. Look at Howard go. I think she gets just the right hand of Frager.
Formico steps in front, says, I'll take this ball, thank you very much, and Bushler puts it away.
Bushler took a little off there. The block wasn't there, but instead of crushing that ball, which would end up maybe a little deeper in the court, she took a little off. It ended up shallow, and she gets the kill.
Formico, one hand, and it's up perfectly. And again, if Formico puts it up, Bushler is going to put it down.
Yeah, I don't know how Bushler got that ball down right there. That's set a few feet off the net, but it's just proof of what great athleticism she has. Here comes the dig. Formico gets it up. The set's way off the net. Formico's all over the place.
And Howard crushes one. Or sorry, Hodson crushes one. Now Howard back to serve. Again, Bushler, Drolson, and Formico receiving. 3 great passers.
Here comes that backslide.
They go the other way because Bushler is the hot hand. Felix Begenfort in front this time and gets a kill in front.
Interesting. I thought UCLA was going to pay for not going to that slide immediately because Felix likes that, but that time going on the front side and squeaking the kill between the blockers and the net.
Back to Hodson. Formico there. Here it comes for Bushler. She's 6 feet off. Maybe more.
I think we're seeing something with Bushler. I think she likes the ball a little bit off the net. If it's tight in that kind of 3 feet off sweet spot, she's not quite as effective. At least tonight, those off balls, she's really putting them away.
She has 7 kills in this set. Oh, Muno, a princess twirl and a dig.
Net violation for UCLA. I believe Muno was up and in the net, but the damage has been done with Bushler on the outside. UCLA is in a great position right now to receive serve and put it away.
Set point, UCLA. Bushler, one blocker. It's not going to happen. 8 kills in the second set for Riley Bushler. She's out of her head.
That was just incredible. We knew that Riley Bushler was going to step it up, and she did. They continued to go to her, and what a way to go to the break. Here's Bushler on the outside. She's loving that cross-court angle right in the gap between the left back and the middle back player. Look at that big double arm lift. Her mechanics, her techniques are right on point. She's just a sophomore. I'll tell you what, we're going to be calling her name for many years to come. She's only getting better each and every match.
Michael Seeley has said that great players make a big jump between the freshman and sophomore year, and Riley Bushler has done that. And so we're going to send it to our Pac-12 Network studios next. Katie Boggs in the studio. We'll take you through that win by number 1 USC.
You're watching Pac-12 Los Angeles. Home.
Welcome back. Set 3 about to get underway, but first let's take a look at our Foster Farms play of the match. It involved the defense and then the offense of the UCLA Bruins.
What the Bruins had to do is turn things around defensively and in transition. Formica gets the dig, and then it's Bushler who puts it away. Look at the layout by Formica, and then Bushler down the middle of the court. She had 0 kills in the first set, 8 kills, if you can believe it, in that second set.
Excellent defense by Formica. Mike Seeley joining us now. Coach, set number 2, Bushler came alive. What was the difference?
We were playing pretty uninspired. You know, it was obvious the girls weren't into it. They just weren't clicking. So in that timeout, we just talked about, hey, we're trying to get prepped and ready for a tournament. You got to play back-to-back nights against great teams. You got to find a way to win, even if you're not feeling it.
Coach Bushler really stepped up her game, but seems like Stanford's establishing that middle attack. How do you slow that down?
We got to grow a little bit. She's too big. Can't stop her. Yeah, she's doing a great job. We got to serve tough, get them out of system, go from there.
Thanks so much for joining us, Coach.
You got it.
Certainly Claire Felix, a lot of excitement as well. And earlier we caught up with John Dunning, Stanford's head coach. Coach Dunning, at the end of set number 2, Riley Bushler on the outside had a lot of success. How do you close the gap on those pin hitters?
You know, you got to make some decisions when you play against, well, all the good teams, but certainly against UCLA. I mean, number 8 is a really good slide hitter, but Bushler was not having success early, and at the end of that game they went to her. We probably should have cheated back to her in that rotation right there, because she does get hot, and you got to shut her down when that happens. So this next game we can't let her do what she just did.
Coach, what adjustments should we expect to see in that third set?
Well, you know, you get down to it. I think UCLA plays great defense, and what you have to do is pass, set, connect, execute. I thought we did that in streaks in game 1 and streaks in game 2, but we got to do it more. We can connect a lot better offensively than we are here, and you got to do it because they got a lot of DSs on the court who dig everything, and when they get it going like they did the other night against USC, it's pretty hard to get it on the floor. We just got to do a better job.
Thanks for making time for us, John.
You bet. Thanks.
Well, we'll see if they can do that and not let it, or try to get it on the floor, because the Littles of UCLA, their seniors, have been the backbone of this team all season long.
Yeah, they really have. They allow UCLA to get second and third efforts. It's all about scrapping. It's the little things that take place that are going to get the victory.
Muno trying to keep it alive. Outside again. Bushler goes wide.
Lutz just a wall up at that net, making it so difficult for the Bruins just to get it over. And when you have that kind of height and that athleticism in the front line, it's a really strong weapon.
Tough serve by Kelsey Humphreys. Back. Humphreys again. Sends it to Hodson. Ball is low.
Yeah, that ball wasn't even really close. The setting connection has not been that tight on the UCLA Bruins side.
Meanwhile, I mentioned Kelsey Humphrey's mom, Wendy Rush, played at Stanford. She was coached actually by Don Shaw. I need to correct myself. Our colleague Don Shaw, national champion coach many times over. Coacher Dunning coached Brittany Howard's mom at UOP. Want to clean that up myself since I said it wrong. Give everybody credit where it's due. Of course, Dunning had great success at UOP and at Stanford. Burgess on the money, but Felix closes the door on Lutz.
Well, that's what Coach Seeley was talking about, just really stepping up. Claire Felix, 6'6", so she's right up there with the bigs in the middle for Stanford. She's got to really get in their face. She does it again, great touch.
I'm giggling a little with Claire Felix because she's street tough. I tell you what, I mean, after that block of Lutz, you can see her moving. Not necessarily smack talking, but like, yeah, I'm on that block. After she crushes the ball on those slides, she looks at it for a second, just making sure it's down.
She's got a little swagger, a little attitude. I like it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you need to have. It's an air of confidence.
Yeah, and some fire.
Yeah.
What coach doesn't like a little fire? Lots. It's her firepower do it for her. You know, we remember when Moretta Lutz came into Stanford, she was kind of under the radar a little bit, had played small club volleyball, wanted to go to Stanford because of family ties, and John Dunning was thrilled to have her. She has come such a long way in every aspect of the game, according to her coach.
Under the radar? How do you come in under the radar at 6'8"?
Exactly. But because she didn't play high level club volleyball. Muñoz.
I love that attempt by Muñoz trying to kick that ball up. Number 9, Muñoz, doing everything that she can for the Bruins. And that would be completely legal. You can
absolutely.
You can play any part of the body.
No extra points for style points, but still it would work.
We would have given her some extra style points.
Like Dancing with the Stars, right.
But the scoreboard wouldn't.
Namo gets down to get that, but that one just set off.
Bruins have to watch out. You don't want to get too far down early on in this third set. Both the first sets were really highly contested to about halfway through, and then we saw the Bruins pull away in set 2. Stanford pulled away in the first set.
Maddie Bug, but Namo was ready for it. Howard says, feed me. They're going to go to Lutz. Bit of a scramble play on both sides. Quickly to Anderson. Tries to use the block. Does she? She does.
Now there's a long rally. Finally, UCLA coming up with the win. So that ball going back and forth quite a few times. Anderson finally using it off the block. I like right now how the UCLA middles are starting to play.
Outside, Howard. We can just feel it develop. Talk about fire.
Big hit by Howard. She knew that the middle was late getting there. She goes right for the gap in between Namo and Frigger.
Howard still perfect. 12 kills on 21 attempts. No errors. Yeah, Howard again. Why not?
Real emotional after every win. Really celebrating their success right now, the Stanford Cardinal is. And that can be contagious. When you see your teammate fired up, pumped up every time, that gets you in the zone.
Service error. Riley Bushler rotates back in up front for UCLA.
Yeah, that's service there, right? It's tough to watch those serves that go straight into the net because the opposition doesn't have to make a decision. You want to miss those balls a little deeper.
Hodson from the backcourt, no block. Whew, textbook, put that on a video.
Haley Hodson got a little quiet. She had a really great start in the first set. UCLA kind of slowed her down in that second set. I think you need to get back to going to her.
Frager, meanwhile, also been a little quiet. That's just her second kill of the day. And as she rotates out, Claire Felix back up front. Bug to Vonyak, and Felix waiting for it.
Now the middles on UCLA are really starting to play, put some pressure across the net. Great stop that time by Felix.
Howard again. Muno goes away from Felix and just pops the ball, does Namo. Wow.
Wow, big snap on the ball. I don't know if that went off. Yeah, right off the side of the head of Haley Hodson. She definitely had to feel that one. She turns to look, and she knows that ball is a good 20 rows up in the stands.
Hodson comes right back and cracks at it. Ball's lost as a turnaround on the block, and Bushler adds to her tally.
It's so difficult as a blocker when you touch the ball and all of a sudden it's out of your vision. You don't know where it's at. You have to turn around, you look, and then all of a sudden it's coming right down on top of your head.
Muno defensively has made some big plays today.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how that ball's not called. That was ugly. Maddie Bug going for the one-handed set on the outside. It had a ton of spin, but it wasn't called.
A quick timeout and a 1-point lead for UCLA in set number 3.
Of the UCLA Bruins.
Pac-12 Network.
Final regular season match of the year for these two top 15 teams as they are tuning up for the postseason. Both Stanford and UCLA were host in the first round. We would expect them to.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, they're in the Pac-12, Stanford's number 3, UCLA right now number 4. If UCLA wins this, they tie for 3rd. I'm sure they're not really concerned about a 3rd place finish in the Pac-12. I mean, that's basically all done. It's about looking to the future, and they're going to find out their fate on Sunday night when the selection show takes place. And the bottom line is you want to be playing on top of your game and with a lot of confidence, and that's what's on the line here tonight. Going in victorious with a win and all sorts of confidence. I think it'd be tough for UCLA to have beat the number 1 team in the country on Wednesday and then to lose this one.
Yeah, and by the way, that was the last time they beat a number 1 team was in 2011. So that's probably the stat that they like. Free ball. Felix asking for it. She's going to stay in front. Namo! Getting stronger with every swing.
You know, she really is, and she's got a quick arm. We saw her take it off the side of the head of Haley Hodson earlier. This time, she just goes clear path quickly right in the seam between the 2 blockers.
What a dig. Formico puts it up for Namo, well off. Holly McKenna sets Howard. Hodson, smart, uses that block.
You keep mentioning it, Anne-Marie. The fact of Howard, how smart she's playing. It's pretty incredible. She's been set 23 times and she does not have an error. So she is really smart keeping that ball in. She's got 13 kills. It's been impressive.
And here she is from the backcourt. Bushler continues to roll. That's her 10th kill after having none in the first set.
She made the adjustment on the outside, absolutely on fire in set number 2 with 8 kills, and she's had a lot of success hitting cross court. If I were Stanford, what I would do is I would jump into that cross court, I would force her to hit down the line. She can do it, but it might be a little more difficult a shot, and it'll make her a little bit more uncomfortable.
I mean, she's in a groove, right? Just change the groove at least. We'll see if they're able to do it.
Exactly. You want to take away a player's strongest tendency.
Like the slide for Claire Felix?
I'm beginning to wonder what her tendency is, though, on that slide. Initially, I thought it was cross court. Now, she really likes to go down the line. And having that variety and that ability to go both ways is so troubling for the blocker on the other side of the net.
Her tendency is to kill it. How about that? Right? Either way. Been a lot of fun. Meanwhile, Lutz slowed down by the hands a little. Anderson wants a piece of the action. Namo comes in. And Anderson uses the block. Seeley gives his finger of approval.
Doesn't matter how you get that kill, as long as you get it clean to the floor or tooling it off the block.
Formico gets a piece of Hodson's kill.
Hodson just so consistent, so powerful. Such a great addition for the Cardinal this season.
On her way to another double-double, 9 digs and 9 kills. A matter of time, and Anderson just walks it off.
Anderson is tough on that outside pin. Very focused, very straight face. She's all about business, and she's been getting it done on the outside.
Trouble for Stanford. Frager says, "You're going to give this back to me, right?"
Payback. You always want to get that set when you make a play to finish it off.
Well, that time she did. Frager passed and then killed. It's a 4-point lead for the Bruins in set number 3.
Discoveries are leading to better ways to care for athletes and get them back in the game.
Welcome back to Pauley Pavilion. Set 3, a 4-point lead for UCLA. Sets 1 and 2, split 1 apiece. We'll talk about some basketball as well. Sunday, 3-point machine Bryce Alford and the Bruins are back here in Pauley to face Cal State Northridge. Sunday at 4 on Pac-12 Network, or watch on Pac-12 Now and pac-12.com. It's the master John Wooden, statue of him outside. Women's basketball team at UCLA also very strong. They played South Carolina to just 2 points last weekend. Corey Close has that team on point as usual. Hodson from the backcourt.
UCLA really in control right now. They've made some great adjustments. They've gotten into the strong hitting tendencies of a lot of the hitters on the Stanford side, and they've built a substantial 5-point lead.
Hodson from the backcourt. UCLA choosing not to block it consistently. Everybody's just back and getting their helmet on when Hodson's hitting from the backcourt. Burgess drives a truck through the hole.
Yeah, when you can see that little gap when the middle blocker hasn't gotten out in time, that's what great hitters do. They recognize that and they go right into that seam. Burgess, perfectly executed.
And how hard is it, though, for that middle blocker to get out there when she's got Lutz in front of her?
Very difficult. You have to be in a full read, and to move that quickly is very hard.
The connection, it missed. But Howard was waiting for it and said, "What is it?" It's a fan, she was saying. A little bit of a feather that Lutz maybe touched it a little.
Yeah, and Lutz didn't complain or argue. I think she did get a little piece of it. Great refereeing by the head official.
Burgess, perfect. Howard! She's still crazy on fire. 14 kills, 27 attempts, no errors.
Yeah, and she's hitting over 500. She's been getting it done from the first whistle. She puts this one quickly down. You see when she's in that one-on-one situation, Namo blocking her, she went angle and absolutely crushed it.
Paula McKenna just tracks that perfectly.
Inadvertent whistle right there. I think he wanted to call a carry because that block stuck in her hand a little bit too long. Here's a tip, and that ball, see how it catches? And maybe he wanted to call 2 attempts, but he realized that it was an inadvertent whistle. No foul had been made. We're going to replay it up.
Back, and Anderson says the ball never lies.
Anderson from the right side this time. Seen so much of her from the left, this time from the right, going hard cross court.
Drolson serving, and Bushler has come back in up front. Howard changes her pace. Namo off Howard's hand. Howard is on point, follows up. Oh, pike and finish.
Beautiful press over the net right there. Vonyek and Maddie Bug up synchronized. Great press. Vonyek's left hand presses right back into the court.
She knows that somebody should have taken a picture of that one. That was beautiful. Frager answers back on the single block.
5-point lead that UCLA has right now. It's going to be very difficult for Stanford to step it up. I'd like to see Stanford maybe take a little bit more risk from the back line serving. They're going to have to press the issue right now.
Trouble play. Hodson does a great job keeping it in.
That was a really difficult play for Hodson to keep in play. She almost finished the play with a block, but Namo on the back, the right side, has been so successful, just unleashing high off the left hand of Hodson.
Brittany Howard.
Jeez.
In the final match of her senior, or the final conference match of her senior season, is going to end up with another career high. She's got 15 kills. Her career high is 17.
It's been so efficient. 0 errors for Howard.
So satisfying for John Dunning, who said he spent this season talking to Howard about not worrying about making errors. I want you to take some risks. She's been pounding the ball today.
She's so smart, and that's a sign of maturity, her getting better all the time, but she's not making unforced error plays when she easily could. There's a lot of sets that she's had that she could have easily went for it, hit it out of bounds, but she takes a little off, makes sure it stays in bounds. She's just really playing a smart game throughout.
Meanwhile, we'll see if it's a smart game on UCLA's side right here as Kelsey Humphreys serves. Claire Felix is up front. You know it's going to Felix. Howard from the backcourt. Felix in front at this time. Uh-oh. Wow. Fingernail play. And a chance to set it up. Felix could not get behind, and so Bushler crushes through the block.
UCLA really playing well as a team, making great defensive plays, and more importantly, transition now is really solid. Early on, Stanford was the team that was transitioning so well. UCLA really couldn't get it going, but things have really changed, and UCLA playing with a lot of confidence, and I think they're remembering what they did on Wednesday night, you know, when they took down the #1 team in the nation, the Trojans.
While talking with Michael Seeley before Wednesday night's match, he said, look, there isn't any pressure on us. We're playing the #1 team and the #6 team. We're not going to go down in terms of our seeding or where we are, and perhaps playing without pressure has really lightened the load on UCLA, especially Zana Muno, who has been running this offense.
Yeah, I agree with him. If he lost those matches, it wasn't going to hurt his team, but it would hurt them from a mental standpoint. And most importantly, these matches are about fine-tuning everything that you've worked on the entire season and trying to get the cohesive unit to be playing at the top of their game. And he's really got his Bruins doing so. Mike Sealy does right now with the way they played on Wednesday and the way that they're playing right now.
You know, interesting that Zonomuno has played so well Wednesday night and holding things today. And Ryan Chandler, who's been out for 6 to 8 weeks now since Oregon, has been cleared to play. Michael Sealy told us before the match. So you're going to see her. So now Muno's kind of got it going. Do you put Ryan Chandler in when you come postseason? It's going to be tough for him to make that decision, although it'll be sweet for him to have options.
Yeah, it's nice when you have options as a coach because you never know what's going to happen. But you want to be going with the strongest unit you think that is out on the court. And sometimes that's not individual ability, it's chemistry throughout.
Outside, Anderson puts it down, and UCLA takes a 2-1 lead.
What a smart shot. Hodson released, and that left that back right corner wide open.
UCLA hit 325 as a team in set number 3. Can they close it out in the 4th set?
The Sunday matinee hoops triple header. First,
have some surplus.
Welcome back. Set 4 about to get underway, but before we go forward, let's look back. Riley Bushler going off in sets 2 and 3.
Yeah, Riley Bushler was blanked in the first set, and she wasn't too happy about it because she came out in the second set, put up 8 kills, and really turned things around for the UCLA Bruins. She had 3 kills in the 3rd set, a very crucial timing, and more importantly, she brought the fire and that enthusiasm on the other side of the net. Another player that has 30 attempts on the night, Brittany Howard for the Stanford Cardinals. She has made 0 errors, if you can believe it, 15 kills. She's hitting 500, and she has been the go-to player for the Cardinal. She's going to have to take it up even another notch if Stanford is going to be able to even things out here in set number 4.
These two players, two of the most exciting players on the floor today, and there's a lot of stars on these teams. So the question is, in set number 4, Dane, what does Stanford need to do specifically to even this up and push it to a set number 5?
Well, I think they need to go back to their bread and butter and establish the middle attack very early. That will open up more things for not only Brittany Howard, but Haley Hodson as well, and Jordan Burgess. I'd like to see them spread it out, but go to the middle early, really establish yourself, and that could possibly put some pressure on the Bruins.
Howard gets the first set from Stanford. Swing is wide, first error of the match on a giveaway set.
Well, I think what head coach Mike Sealy has done is he's made an adjustment, told his players to be as disciplined as possible on those pin hitters for Stanford. That's why they're touching a lot of the hits and controlling them and able to transition the defense.
Oh my, Maddie Bug, the joust doesn't happen, so she just pops it down.
Really smart play by Maddie Bug, able to hit that ball after Claire Felix saves it and puts it over the net. Looks like it's going to be a save for UCLA, and Maddie Bug says, let's get this thing finished.
Paula McKenna, the freshman libero for Stanford. So much talent on the team, I don't even feel like we're talking about her very much. They come up with another kill. McKenna a challenge with Benjamin at the beginning of the year for the libero position and has grabbed a hold of it and stayed with it. Claire Felix serving for UCLA. Goes at Howard. Want to make her do double duty. She says that's fine.
Howard with yet another kill on the outside. She really has some good technique and really fired up every time she gets that kill.
Frager from the middle.
So smart by Frager to see the open court. Instead of trying to hit this, she goes crossbody, nice and shallow in the court.
Bug goes to Hodson, turns it away.
Hodson really likes that line, and she has such a varied arsenal that she can go to because she can hit that sharp angle, she can hit the line, wherever she wants. She's in full control.
Perfect pass from Inoue back to Anderson. She has to stutter step for timing.
Hodson trying to go a little bit too sharp on that one. Ran out of real estate, and that ball ended up a couple feet out of bounds. Seems like UCLA is really locked in on where the hitters are going. The front line slowing down the ball, and Stanford is not getting the easy kills that they were in the first set.
Jolson lays out, picks up the Hodson dig. Hodson again, one blocker, puts it down on the floor in front of Jolson.
That goes to show you her ability, how well Hodson jumps and how quick that arm is. She's able to generate a lot of spin and snap on that ball, able for it to land very shallow in the court.
UCLA well out of system. This ball closer than Bushler likes, and Hodson and Lutz waiting for it.
Anytime a set is that close, the hitter cannot get there and jump, or they'll end up losing their balance, end up into the net. They have to get their feet under it, go straight up and down. Want to give the hitter about 3 or 4 feet off the net.
Muno again just picks it up on the cover. Her cover is as good as anybody's. Hodson. Tricky.
Nama was there, but got a little caught up and caught high on that ball. Hodson breaking out all the tricks.
Got a deep bag of tricks from playing with the national team, as you pointed out earlier in the match.
And there Stanford, having some momentum, gives it right back to UCLA.
Formico serving. Bug back to Hodson again. One-on-one. You have to. Lutz is up there.
There you see that varied arsenal. Her shoulders are facing cross court when she goes to hit that, but she's able to go outside her body and bring that ball back to the line.
Felix making the trip around behind. Namo comes in front.
Burgess on the outside. Really solid hit. Jolson was there, but a little too deep in the court. When you have that middle back playing deep off the court, they have a lot of confidence in their blocker to tip the ball, and they're getting ready to play it as it ricochets off really high. I remember playing for Pepperdine, and there was times if your middle blockers are doing their job and there's a nice block up there, you want to be standing off the court to get the deflection. Just like that right there. Beautiful block by the Bruins.
Well played by Riley Bushler.
Wow, I thought that ricocheted off of Bushler, but I had a bad angle on it, so she said no touch immediately, and the referees agreed.
Bug goes back to Hodson. It's traced down. Jolson in pursuit. But where she puts it up is not one where somebody's followed her.
Yeah, she kind of made it a little more difficult on herself. Here comes Bushler. There's the hit. Oh, the ball actually hit the ground so quick. The ball was stuffed down so fast, and then it bounced and hit her. I didn't even see the ball hit the ground that quick. That's a sign of a quick stuff block, and there's another one. So Stanford is putting up an absolute wall on the outside. That was Maddie Bug and Lutz putting it up perfectly.
Burgess serving, back line of the Bruins talking. Bushler on the money. Felix feeling it.
A lot of emotion out of Felix. I love the fire. She loves going off that 1 foot, that slide, little slow action, and then she just rips that hit.
You know, she loves it, but you can tell her teammates love it too. Namo smiling ear to ear as she comes in. Brittany Howard screaming and cheering on the other side for Stanford, trying to make sure that they feel all the emotion she's got. Howard up front with Vonyak and Bug. Attention, Bug is up front. Therefore, she needs somebody covering her. I've learned that from Dane Blanton. There you go.
Watch the dump.
Anderson trying to key on her. Hodson.
Hodson, when she's hitting and there's no block up, you better get shallow in the court. You better take a couple steps in the court because she's bouncing balls in front of the defense.
So what are some of the reasons that UCLA, because they haven't blocked her from the backcourt at all today, what are some of the reasons that they may have for choosing not to block Hodson as she attacks backcourt?
Well, that allows them to commit on the front row hitters, but Haley Hodson's not one that you really want to hit out of the back row with no block up at the net. If they're going to do that, I'm not opposed to that idea, but have your defenders take a step into the court because she's hitting that ball pretty far down.
Michael Seeley has lots of confidence in his defense. They trail right now by 5 in set number 4. Pac-12 Women's Volleyball is presented by Tashikara. We've got the ball. You bring the game. Welcome back to the campus of UCLA. The Bruins trailing Stanford in this set, but leading the match 2-1. Dane, what has been the key to Stanford's success?
Well, Stanford got back to what they were doing early in the first set. They started establishing the middle. Haley Hodson is playing at a really high level. She's already got 41 attempts, if you can believe it, so they're going to her very often. But Stanford has played better in this fourth set. They've transitioned better, and they're playing with more of a sense of urgency. Their backs are up against the wall. UCLA does not want to go 5, and in order for that to happen, they need to start to step it up right now.
Yeah, UCLA, if they win 5 in this one, it would be their 5th 5-set match in their last 6 matches.
Well, that's a lot of extra time.
And it's late November, so you're already tired and dinged up and beyond. Pass is good. Felix is behind. Namo from the backcourt. She's ridiculous.
She really is. I mean, she's only 5'11", but she gets up there. I mean, in a world of 6'2", 6'8", 6'6", we've seen, she really cranks that ball right there from the back row.
A double-double for Namo as Frager puts that one down.
Little concern right now for Dunning as UCLA starting a little mini run.
Howard gonna put an end to that. She has a new career high 18 kills. She did it in her final conference match of her career.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Really stepping up, wanting to go out with a bang, and she really is.
Anderson keeps chipping away.
Well, the cornerstone of UCLA's offense is having those hitters on the outside. Anderson and Bushler, real great athletes. Whenever you're in trouble, you can throw it out there. That gives you a lot more confidence.
Anderson wishes she hadn't reached back on that one. Wow, Hodson. Also 18 kills.
Yeah, Noye was on the run there to get that ball up and to keep it going for the Bruins. But Stanford was waiting for that free ball.
Enoy and Formico back to receive now. They take it To the back line. It's a service error.
Well, Stanford needs to watch out right now. They're making some errors, and UCLA is right there. Remember, UCLA up 2-1. So if they can manufacture a win here in the fourth, they can take the match.
Hodson, no surprise there, off hands. She has found a groove.
Kelly Hodson hitting .238 today, 42 attempts, 18 kills, and just a freshman.
Just a national team experience freshman, right?
Yeah. It's funny watching her play because you think, I mean, she leads the team in kills. She's a leader out there. She's so composed. She just looks like such an experienced player.
Yeah.
To think that it's her first year of collegiate volleyball and how good she is going to get. It's just the sky's the limit. She can get really as good as she wants to.
Yeah, I mean, she leads this team with 12 double-doubles. She just picked up another one in this match. She's about to have another 20-kill game. Felix, money behind.
Got to continue to go to what works, and it's that backslide. Munoz to Felix. Two blockers in her face. Stanford trying to slow it down, but she gets yet another kill.
Bug goes back to Hodson in the backcourt. There's the maturity.
Yeah, that's a high volleyball IQ, knowing the defense completely dug in, and she's earned that. When you hit a lot of hard hits, the defense has to dig in. They're on their heels, and that opens up that shallow shot right in the middle of the court.
That's where you punch somebody in the face enough times, and then you can just push them right over. That was beautiful by Hodson. Buck to Lutz.
Good connection in the middle. Maddie Bug quarterbacking.
Moretta Lutz, Haley Hodson, Brittany Howard, pick your poison. Stanford is hot.
Leading to better ways to care for athletes and get them back in the game.
Welcome back to Pauley Pavilion. The Stanford Cardinal, the 6th-ranked team in the nation, with a 6-point lead in set number 4. But the Bruins with a 2-1 lead. Taking a look at the standings, you mentioned it, Dane, these teams 3 and 4 in conference standings.
Yeah, they're so evenly matched. That's why we expected a battle here tonight. Right now, you're seeing Stanford play with a little bit more of a sense of urgency because they're trailing 2-1. If you're UCLA right now, you think you'd want to step it up. They don't want to go another 5-setter. But both these teams playing at a very high level, close to the end of the year, and that's what this match is all about. You know, it's either going to end with Stanford in 3rd place or in a 3rd place tie with these Bruins in the Pac-12, but both these teams really focused on the postseason.
Bushler.
She loves to sell that touch every time. She looks in with a dead serious face. Hey, there's a touch on that. And I think she gets it more often than not when it's really close. Great pass.
Drolson lifts it up. Felix waiting for it behind. They go to Bushler. Felix begging for it. Lutz is in front. Somehow. Bushler gets it through.
Yeah, Bushler, I watched her that entire rally. She's so good at getting to the spot prior to the set happening. She gets to her spot, gets a nice wide approach on the outside, comes in with a nice technical double arm swing hit, and she's so good to prepare for when that ball is going to be set.
Hodson. This time they had a block on her. No touch.
Hodson trying to go around the block. She hasn't seen a block in her face too often out of that back row.
Howard continues to go to work. Namo chases it down. It's going to be a free ball to Stanford. Lutz is up front. She makes eye contact with Bug, and that happens.
She's so smart on when to do it. She just kind of lulls you to sleep, doesn't do it for a while, and that's smart of a really great setter that Maddie Bug is, the two-time Pac-12 setter of the year. She'll probably walk away with that award again this year. Such a great quarterback.
Anderson, a hole in the block.
How about that? Maddie Bug saving that ball that was outside the antenna and going over the net. But the Cardinal had to give the free ball, and the Bruins were just waiting to eat it up.
Jordan Anderson with 11 kills. 4 Bruins in double-figure kills today. Vonyak asking for it. It doesn't happen.
Vonyak straight out of bounds right there, no touch. Stanford doesn't want to see any more, as it's now a 4-point lead for Stanford. They're 3 points away from forcing a 5th set. And if the Bruins go to a 5th set, it'll be 5 of the last 6 matches. And that's like a basketball team playing in overtime every single night. It gets to be a little bit fatiguing.
Yeah, and it's incredible because you're during the Pac-12. Most of those matches are against top 25 teams, by the way, including one of the 5 setters against Arizona.
So many great teams from the Pac-12 in the top 25. The Stanford Cardinal, of course, the Washington Huskies right now are playing at a very high level, and the #1 ranked USC Trojans, who lost to these UCLA Bruins just Wednesday night. Taking a look at the RPI rankings, USC is 2. Stanford and UCLA very close. You see there, Stanford at 12, UCLA at 13. That's why, you know, their position is not going to change too much as the result of this match. They'll probably stay in that similar area. I would expect if UCLA wins this, as they won on Wednesday night versus USC, I think they might crack that top 10 in the RPI, so that could change things. But nonetheless, they're going to host, and the big question is, what teams are going to be playing their best volleyball when the postseason begins?
Well, UCLA certainly is playing their best volleyball, as evidenced by these tough matches. Those 5-set matches you're talking about, 4 of those have been against top 25 teams.
And that gives you so much confidence that you can win even when you're down a couple of sets, that you can always come back, and that's how UCLA is feeling. No matter what the situation, they can get it done.
Off the left hand of Vonyak, and UCLA has closed the gap.
Well, they're closing it. I wouldn't say close just yet. There's a little more work to do. 20-22. They're on a nice little run right now. A lot of pressure on Stanford. Here's Anderson, 2 blockers, solid right in her face. She goes cross court, hits it right off the left hand of Vonyak, and that ball goes down. Anderson seeing the court so well and hitting those drastic angles. That has been the difference here. The little things that UCLA is doing down the stretch.
A 6-2 UCLA run.
And having this home court advantage, great crowd coming out tonight, the day after Thanksgiving, wanting to see this high level, very even matchup. And UCLA, they're just 5 points away from closing this thing out. Stanford would love to force a 5th set.
Stanford has a storied program, a ton of success, 6 national titles, the last one in 2004. 19 Final Fours. They are used to pressure.
Well, I think what's most impressive, 34 straight NCAA tournaments. They never miss. They're always ready to go. And after this season, basically, this will be the third season in 30 years that they've finished outside the top 2 spots in the Pac-12. So very consistent. UCLA with a chance.
Here's the opportunity. Munoz to Anderson. Goes down the line. So smart.
So smart. She saw Haley Hodson release in that right back position for the dump. Haley thought it might be a short dump, but it goes deep in the corner. Such great volleyball IQ by Anderson, and the Bruins get another point.
Outside. Howard still Midas. 19 kills. 1 error.
That's who you want to go to right now. Howard or Hodson. If you are Stanford and you get this ball back, right now UCLA needs a great pass to run their offense.
They get the great pass. They go to Frager. Formico gives him another. Anderson outside. Howard. And she tags that back line.
Give all the credit to Burgess in the back for Stanford, who saw the deep shot. There was a kill earlier. She said, not this time. She dug it up and gave Stanford the opportunity.
Outside again. Go to your hot hitter.
Your hot and emotional hitter. Wow. That's with an exclamation point right there.
Set 4 goes to Stanford. We are going to 5 as Brittany Howard puts down her 21st kill of the match.
Friends, this is Pac-12 basketball.
Welcome back to Pauley Pavilion. The UCLA Bruins and the Stanford Cardinal go into a 5th set. These two teams in their final match of the 2015 regular season, taking a look at 5-set records. UCLA, by the way, 22-1 when they win the first set. I'm trying to think back to if they won the first set here today. They did not.
They did not.
So taking a look at the match stats, Stanford with a hitting edge. What other numbers jump out to you?
Well, it's very even as you look at it. Service aces, no team has really put pressure on the other team too heavily. And you see the assist. Stanford has the favor there, but we knew this was going to be evenly matched. It's coming down to the real little things right now. Hodson and Howard both over 20 kills, so they have really come and stepped up their game. The big question, and you mentioned it earlier, is how long can UCLA sustain going into these 5-set matches? And they were just in one on Wednesday when they took down the #1 team, but this is their 5th 5-set match in their last 6 matches, and this is something special. I mean, if you look at the overall head-to-head, the Cardinal has won the last 6 times that these two teams have faced. So UCLA in good position, being on their home court, playing really well. Can they turn the tide here in the 5th set?
And you can bet these seniors want to beat Stanford at home. They've never done it. They want to be at their home. Lutz on Frager. Formico goes back to Namo. Namo going to stay behind it, give a free ball. Lutz is there. Pancake, it's good. Oh, Namo tore the net down.
Yeah, Namo tried to be a little bit too aggressive, but how about number 11, Formico, just serving up the pancake to perfection. She lays it out early, puts that hand out extended, lets the ref know this ball is coming right up. She is such a pleasure to watch, such a great defender.
Bushler entering now, as is Carly Drolson. Lutz up front, as is Burgess. Bug goes to Lutz. Formico, one hand. And Anamo off heads. Oh my. That's painful.
Scrappy play by Stanford. Keeping that in. Look at the dig right here by Formico. We saw the pancake on the last play. That time she sacrifices one arm and rolls it out perfectly.
This league has incredible liberos. What a money pass. And Bug shows some skill. Defensively, that set is a little wonky. And then off hands. Point Cardinal.
Oh my, Maddie Bug pulls off as the off blocker on the right side. I don't know how she got that ball up in the air. Here it is, she's on the right front. Look at, I guess we missed it there, but an incredible dig by Maddie Bug.
Ball is sent long, and Claire Felix comes back in. Felix up front, 13 kills today, hitting .462. Lutz up front for Stanford. Interesting lineup. Howard, Little. Bushler off hands, but Burgess. The defense is sick today, both sides.
Both sides have really stepped it up. Here's a look at Maddie Bug, the right front playing defense. Look at this, left hand, she just throws it out there and completely controls it. So smart, so quick.
Bushler looking down the line. Fool me once, fool me twice.
I love Bushler. As soon as she goes down the line, she turns to the line judge and says, touch, touch.
Right.
And there was a touch.
She's just being helpful.
Yeah.
No?
I used to do it all the time. You got to sell. You can try to influence.
Bug to Lutz. Formico digs. Bushler back and ready like you said. Again, Formico. It's over. Lutz. Absolutely tags Muno.
Muno in the impact zone. Lutz just unleashing. Here it is, Lutz coming in the middle. Bug sets her perfect. Muno was ready, her hands up in the air. She knew that thing was coming right at her.
Tied up 4 apiece, a thriller. Felix! Cannon.
It's so nice how the UCLA Bruins spread the offense there. They run that back to Felix, and then they have Bushler on the far left side, so it makes the middle blocker commit one way or the other.
Outside to Howard. She's still chopping at it. Bushler hit up a ball. Hodson unloads. Howard says, I'm done with you.
Wow. Howard just seems to be everywhere in the action tonight. No matter what happens, that overpass, there's no question about her putting that one to the floor.
Perfect from Jolson. Oh, now Howard, that's the biggest play she's had today, no?
That is one of the hardest plays to stop, especially when Felix is hitting that backslide. In a one-on-one situation, Howard presses over, and look at how pumped she is after that ball hits the floor.
7 blocks apiece, but that was the biggest one. Hodson sends it over. Claire Felix, yeah, says give it back.
Good D by Stanford, but not good enough to keep that ball in play. And this one just continues to go back and forth.
Hodson on the left, coming over her shoulder, hard to see the block. Change of pace has worked against UCLA, but Formico grabs it. Now it's a free ball. Oh, the block, not fooled, did not bite on Vonyak. Outside, Anderson, the hole in the block. Crushed.
What a great hit. Anderson, look at Formico keeping it up, giving UCLA that opportunity. And look at this quick arm right down the line, going right at Howard and tooling the block. Oh my, Formico's everywhere.
She has used one arm to make herself 6'3". How many times today in her reach?
And the thing is, when she's making that defensive play with one arm, she has complete control. It's not like it shanks left or right. It's like she puts it right in the perfect position.
We've got to be looking at a Pac-12 Libero of the Year in the years to come. She is a sophomore for these Bruins, and she is fantastic. There she is again. You just know that that's a ball she's getting. Felix behind. Double block. Ignoring it.
She goes with a double fist pump in the air right there. How about that? The UCLA Bruins up 8-7 over the Stanford Cardinal here in set number 5. We'll be right back.
December 15th, Champions Play.
Welcome back, Stanford and UCLA. 5th set, as tight as it can be. And Claire Felix this week, 26 kills, 2 errors on 47 attempts.
She is hard to stop. She is dangerous not only offensively, but defensively. She loves that backslide. That's her signature hit. And she can go cross-court with it, or she can go down the line. But she's been causing all sorts of problems for Stanford on the other side of the net. And she has been a huge leader emotionally for the UCLA Bruins. She's got her team pumped up with a 1-point lead here in the 5th set versus Stanford.
Howard, perfect pass. It's picked up. Holland McKenna to Howard. Oh my. It's like a tree falling, one at a time, and then the big block.
Claire Felix had to go down to get that ball up in the air. So UCLA made what looked like could have been a routine play. It became very difficult for them. They have to be ready for an opportunity when it presents itself.
Kelsey Humphrey is a terrific server for the Cardinal. Muno to Anderson. Formico can do it all. Burgess just knows how to get it done. Outside to Anderson. Second consecutive block on the outside.
Anderson tried to go sharp early in that rally, and then finally here she tries to turn it down the line. Hodson is disciplined and waiting on the line, gets the stuff block.
Third block in a row from Stanford out of that timeout.
Burgess right there sending it right back, and a lift is called immediately on Frager.
Unbelievable, 3 consecutive blocks.
There's Burgess up, and there's the ball kind of rolls down Frager's shoulder and arm. Head referee calls a lift immediately, but beautiful technique by Burgess, pressing with that right hand and completely reading that set.
What a match. John Dunning last week was telling us that he wanted to see his defense has to get better, has to dig more balls, and they certainly have been able to do that today.
Yeah, this match has kind of gone back and forth. You saw Stanford really come out on fire, and then UCLA not going to budge. They came right back into this and had control, but Stanford's not going anywhere. It's what we expected, a battle between these teams. Stanford number 12 in the RPI, UCLA number 13. Both these teams, if they play at a high level. They can go very deep into the tournament, and with the personnel, you know, who knows? Who knows where they could go? I mean, both these teams, it's a lot of parity out there.
It is, and they've got players peaking. Brittany Howard, 22 kills today, a career high in her final regular season match of a storied career with the Stanford Cardinal. John Dunning sat her down at the beginning of the year and said, listen, you got to be unafraid to make mistakes. You got to go for it. Today, she has just ripped it consistently and blocked. A used block.
Yeah, it was so quick. It was hard to determine, but that thing was about 2 feet wide. Here comes Anderson. Thunders the ball. Actually, a lot closer than 2 feet.
Lutz gets it past Frager.
This team's really going back and forth. I'd like to see maybe a little more risk from the back line. Try to serve a little tougher. Get the opposition out of system.
Tough serve from Haley Hodson. Anderson comes in. Lutz gets the touch.
Big touch there, easy to call. And that hit was going nowhere inbounds, not even close, but Lutz knew that there was a block there, and a smart play as she hits it high off the block. You see Howard with a nice dig in the backcourt. The set is on point by Maddie Bug, and Lutz hits a flat ball right high off the blocker's fingertips. That's a huge point for Stanford, now up by 3.
In this final set, UCLA hitting zeros right now, and Stanford hitting a low percentage. It's really become all about the blocks. 10 blocks for Stanford, total to UCLA's 7. And then as we're talking volleyball, you might want to think about some football as well. Tuesday, it's a special edition of Inside Pac-12 Football presented by Farmers Insurance. Join Mike Yam and our panel of Pac-12 experts for the 2015 All-Conference Selection Show, Tuesday at 6 on Pac-12 Network.
These two teams playing so even. 77 digs on the UCLA side, 76 digs on the Stanford side right now. And they're both hitting in the 200s. 214 for UCLA, 284. So, about what we expected. These two teams evenly matched, really going at it. The UCLA win would tie these two teams in the Pac-12 for a third-place finish.
Hodson pass. Lutz does not get a piece of anyone, and UCLA back within 2.
Well, UCLA really has to start to make their move right now.
Well, it's a good time then for Riley Bushler to re-enter, as she does. Up front, Carly Drolson in the back. Bushler has been a huge spark plug. Hodson from the backcourt. That's what champions do, 21 kills.
Stepping up when your best is needed right there. Hodson going down the line right in the gap between that left back and middle back position.
Uno goes back to Namo, and it's the block again of Stanford in this 5th set that has controlled.
Howard on fire once again. She got it all with her right hand, and look at the fist pump. She's feeling it.
Match point, Stanford. Frager says not yet.
What Stanford's doing, they're serving Bushler on that left side. and trying to take out that middle attack, trying to take her out offensively. Stanford's going to call a timeout right now. They're up by 3, and you may ask, why call a timeout? You're up in this position. Well, you don't want to let the opposition kind of creep back in. You want to go to the sideline, talk to your team, and get a set play for a good pass. If you keep the ball in system, you want to go to your best percentage play that's going to get you a point. Look at the block by Howard, who has had a spectacular night. And look at her emotion. Boom, that big fist pump every single time, celebrating her successes. She's got 51 attempts on the night, 22 kills, hitting .412. But right now, all the pressure on the side of the UCLA Bruins. You got to think, you got to keep this ball in. You want it. It's a balancing act. You want to get an ace, you want to get them in trouble, yet you can't afford to miss the serve because the match is over. So you got to be in between. You want a tough serve, but you don't want to risk it too much, so you let Stanford off the hook and they walk away with a win. So right now UCLA wants to get Stanford a little bit out of the system with their serve and make sure the blockers are in a nice read position and slow down the offensive attack or get the defense in the backcourt to get that ball up to give yourself an opportunity.
Taylor Formico will be serving for UCLA. Brittany Howard Burgess will flank Holland McKenna, the freshman.
I would bet this goes to the middle blocker. Oh, the pass wasn't there.
But Lutz gets the overpass, and Stanford gets the win.
Yeah, I thought that was their best position player in the middle, but the pass wasn't on point. But she ended up getting the overpass. Lutz put it away. What a great match between these two teams that are playing on such a high level. The overpass, and Lutz at 6'8" terminates the play. Beautiful play on both sides of the net. I think both teams take a lot out of it. For UCLA, they have to be thinking, that they won on Wednesday night versus the #1 team, and then they lose this one. That just goes to show how parity really plays. There's so much parity, and there's no real clear #1 team out there.
No, there isn't. And both of these teams now, it's Friday, they have 1 week to rest and repair and get ready to play next week in the first round of the NCAA tournament. They both will be going, they both will be hosting, and so how critical is this week for them?
Well, it's a huge week. You're preparing for that postseason. You're hosting, so you're feeling good. You're going to be playing at home, and you've really earned that position. But if either of these teams catch fire, the sky's the limit.
Well, for Dane Blanton, my partner, for Brad Toberman, our director, Steve Elkin, our producer, and our entire Pac-12 Network crew, I'm Anne-Marie Anderson saying thank you so much for watching Pac-12 volleyball this year. They tend to go deep in the postseason. Pac-12 volleyball, the best in the nation.